In this bulletin, Fiji hit 90s mark in COVID-19 cases. Shortage of quarantine facilities for positive cases. And New Zealand on standby to assist. And Rupinaka, Fiji. Fiji has the highest number of its daily total as 94 new infections have been announced yesterday. There is also one more death who health officials say had COVID-19, but like the previous fatalities, is not classified as a coronavirus death. There are 28 cases from the CWM cluster, 8 from Nawaka Nandi, and 5 from the Navy cluster. It has also been confirmed that 14 cases are from Navosai, 26 from Wailano Sori, 9 from the IMT, 3 from the RFMF cluster, and 1 from the Umbati. Permanent Secretary Dr. James Fong says 2 cases that tested positive after presenting to Walelebu Health Center are included in the CWM cluster as they had recently been discharged from the hospital. The Walelebu Health Center remained closed for decontamination. 4 more patients have recovered, which means there are now 604 active cases in isolation. The shortage of quarantine facilities nationwide has caused the Health Ministry to enter some of the positive COVID-19 cases into home isolation. Permanent Secretary Dr. James Fong says the increasing number of cases has taken a strain on their quarantine capacity. Dr. Fong adds specific guidance has been provided for people who have been advised to home isolate to ensure they do not have contact with other members of their households. The PS says their staff will continuously checking up on those in home isolation to ensure their protocols are adhered to within the household. He says that majority of the new cases are a result of transmission in closed indoor spaces. Dr. Fong says they are preparing to shift into a mitigation phase as the number of new COVID-19 cases continues to escalate in the Lami, Suva, and Nosori containment area. The Health Ministry says the rate of test positivity stands at around 1.9%, and this has increased due to an influx cases in the Central Division. The test positivity average was at 1.6 on Monday. A World Health Organization criteria says a positive rate of less than 5% is one indicator that the epidemic is under control in a country. Dr. James Fong says 2,729 samples were tested and reported on Monday. Meanwhile, as of yesterday, 218,830 individuals in Fiji have received at least 1 dose of COVID-19 vaccine. New Zealand has once again offered to assist Fiji if and when our country asks for assistance to contain the spread of COVID-19. New Zealand has already given Fiji 250,000 doses of vaccine and also last month announced a massive $60 million in budgetary support to Fiji. This was in response to the economic crisis caused by the COVID-19 pandemic. Now with the case numbers increasing, the New Zealand Prime Minister says they are ready to assist more.
I spoke to the Prime Minister of Fiji only a few weeks ago and made the offer again for New Zealand to support in any way we can. They know that we're here to offer any support they may need. Primarily at the moment that ask has been through vaccines, which we've been working with Australia to ensure that we're providing as much as we can.
The Parliament precincts is again closed after yet another Secretariat staff has been identified as a primary contact of a COVID-19 patient. This is the second time within a week that a Secretariat staff has been identified as a primary contact. Last week, the Parliament sitting had to be moved because of this scare. An advisory by the Speaker of Parliament, Ratu Epeli Nalatikau, confirms that as a precautionary measure, the parliamentary precincts and offices will be closed with immediate effect. We have received confirmation that this employee was not in direct contact with any of the MPs who had attended parliamentary sittings until Monday. It is believed the employee was in his own assigned bubble. Fiji coconut millers will now work to quickly rebuild their main copra drying shed after it was destroyed in a fire over the weekend. Chief Executive John Dale says the fire occurred in the early hours of Saturday and started from one of the dryers. Speaking to FBC News, he says the mill was conducting 24-hour drying when it's alleged the firewood overheated, causing the blaze. Dale says the incident is a major setback as they won't be able to buy coconuts from farmers. The company has lost around 4 weeks' supply of coconuts. The total cost of damage is estimated at $200,000. The Education Ministry and Telecom Fiji have launched a learning hub to provide access to supplementary learning resources for students. Permanent Secretary for Education Dr. Angela Jokan says initiatives such as this ensure that all possible efforts are made to provide educational resources to students. She says we cannot predict how things will evolve over the coming days, and as such, Learning Hub will assist students. The platform will provide one-stop shop for supplementary educational materials, including an archive of past lessons that have already been broadcast.
Resources include worksheets, audio and video lessons, Bula Kids episodes, and some psychological support materials. These can be viewed multiple times. However, they cannot be downloaded due to copyright restrictions.
The Fiji Police Force is urging Fijians not to discourage people from receiving the COVID-19 vaccine. This follows numerous cases where people through social media platforms discourage others from taking the life-saving jab. Acting Police Commissioner Rosette Tunrahu says the force will track down people who use social media to dishearten others from getting the shot and spreading misinformation about the vaccine.
I'm saying you can use social media in whatever things you want to say, but do not cross the line. Because this is the whole government approach. What we would like to do is assist the Ministry of Health as much as we can. Vaccination is not mandatory. We would like to encourage people to come. If you don't want to be vaccinated, that's your own decision. Stay it within you. Keep it with you, but don't influence people. Don't try and get people not to go to the vaccination.
Up ahead, great exposure for swimmers. And Touch Rugby plans ahead. Stay with us. Welcome back. National swimmer Shane Rowa and Epeli Ramboa will be able to access high-performance training facilities and coaching in Australia. The two left the country on Saturday for training and competition in Australia in preparation for the Tokyo Olympic Games. Fiji Swimming President Ben Rowe says it is a golden opportunity for them.
Having this opportunity not only for them to go overseas and complete their final training preps, and even for the swimmer that has decided to train here locally, the best we can do as a federation is to, give them this exposure.
Fiji Football Association started assisting the footballers affected by the second wave of the COVID-19 pandemic with food rations. The first team to receive the assistance were 18 Lautoka players. These players have been identified following a survey done, which indicate that they need assistance. Fiji FA will roll this out in phases where the 8 Digicel Premier League districts and the 6 Digicel Women's Super League districts will be assisted this week. This will be followed by all Witilewu senior men's and senior women's teams next week after proper verification is done. The cost of one food pack given to a player is $180, which is expected to last them 1 month.
And most of the players, after a survey that was done, they're dependent on football as their income. And the districts, when they don't have income themselves coming in, then it becomes the duty of the parent body, Fiji FA, to make sure that we come in some form of help for them.
The positive feedback from the franchise Touch League is now pushing Touch Federation Fiji to take the competition a step further. TFF President Tevita Mau says the players and coaches have expressed their interest to have the sport going in the future. Mau adds this has also helped them select young players for the national squad.
Touch League has been probably a major achievement in terms of the sport, because for once we were able to gather the elite of the game and bring them to pit their skills against one another. And the feedbacks coming from the players and the coaches are pretty positive.
Cloudy periods with brief showers over the eastern parts and the interior of the larger islands. Elsewhere, mostly cloudy conditions with possible afternoon showers. That's FBC Morning News. Join us at 7 p.m. for our major bulletin. For news you can trust, get the facts from FBC's TV, radio and digital news at fbcnews.com.fj. Take care and good morning.